0.05, which means that is 5%. And then finally, doesn't like to read and not successful in school, that's 30 over 200. 30 over 200, that's 0.15 or 15%. Now, why are we doing all this, Mr. Jeremiah? Do you see any big numbers here? Do you think these two things relate to each other at all? What do you notice about these percentages? What's that, Allie? One more time? Yes! Do you think that's true? That people that like to read are going to be more successful in school? That's what you can write down there on B. What one observation from the relative frequencies? Typically, not for everybody, but for kids that like to read, yes, they're going to be successful in school.
Another way that you can check your answers when you're doing this relative frequency, we have 60%, 20%, 15%, 5%. We're trying to get an understanding in the percentage of the whole survey population. So if you add 60 plus 20 plus 15 plus 5, what does that equal out to? 100. So that is 100% of your survey is accounted for. So if for some reason when you're doing this percentage stuff and you don't get to 100, whether it's less than 100 or more than 100, go back and check your work because we want to account for every single person that was in this survey. We want to make sure that 100% of the survey was accounted for and that we understand their perspective and relevance towards certain things. So make sure to check that as well.
Okay, finally, now that's relative. Let's look at conditional. Do you see how on relative we did all 4 boxes, right? Conditional, we're just going to look at a couple of them. Look at part C here. Conditional frequencies for students who like to read. Write the conditional frequencies. I'm going to write a big arrow here on students that like to read, yes. So I know what I'm dealing with. They like how many students, all we care about now are students that like to read. How many students like to read? 160, right? 120 plus 40 is 160. Okay. So of those that like to read, 120 has 160. 75% are successful in school. So now I need to do this one down here. Because all I care about is likes to read. 160 kids like to read. How many are not successful in school? 40. So it's 40 over 160. That's the same as 0.25, 25. Okay, so this is the conditional frequency. All I care about are those kids that like to read. 160. You notice we don't have 200 this time. We've got 160. Okay, of those kids that like to read, 75% are successful in school, 25% not successful. The condition is kids that like to read. What about that box? We don't care about that on conditional frequency. Makes a little sense now? Okay. All right, everybody stand up. Do I have a volunteer for Michael? You want to lead us? Follow the leader? See what you got.
So enthusiastic.
All right. Go ahead. Now you can finish the rest of that week.
The relative frequency is one factor, not all.
Wait, we're not even explained by it. No, what?
be writing down a little quick note about conditional frequency at the very, very bottom. Just to kind of put it into simple terms, it's the same process as relative frequency, but only for one factor. So in relative frequency, we looked at this whole chart and it was like this percentage for this, and all those 4 squares equals 100%. Conditional, you're only looking at one condition. You're separating those out, you're not looking at it in a relative sort of term. It's a little bit less work than relative. Same work, but less.
If you would like to work in my classroom as an alternative workspace, I will take 12. If you'd like to work in my classroom instead of here, you may come with me.
You need to go work. Different day one at school. What? Day one at school. Last one.
Your trick worked on that thing.
What trick?
Do like.
Oh, they keep doing this? No, that's what I was saying. They keep doing this. You're too far away, so.
And plus, it's probably wrong.
You went for a little bit about the marble.
It's like places so long.
Dude, I'm so bored.
My brain processes.
What do you think school? This is how school is. School for middle school in 2018.